A judge laughed at the poor widow until the bikers walked into the courtroom. The courtroom was cold, not just in temperature, but in spirit. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting sterile white light on worn wooden benches and the stern face of Judge Harold Whitmore. At 65, Eleanor Mayfield stood alone at the defendant's table, clutching a faded handbag with trembling fingers. Her gray hair was neatly pinned back, her dress patched but clean. She hadn't eaten much that week. Her only crime? Falling behind on property taxes after her husband's passing. "Mrs. Mayfield," Judge Whitmore drawled, barely glancing up from his docket, "this is your third appearance. The county has been more than patient. You owe $8,400. If you can't pay today, we'll proceed with foreclosure." Eleanor's voice cracked. "Your Honor, I've been selling pies at the farmer's market. My pension barely covers my medicine. I just need a little more time." The judge cut her off with a dry chuckle. "A little more time? You think the law runs on pie recipes and good intentions?" A few lawyers in the gallery snickered. Eleanor's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away. She wouldn't give them the satisfaction. Just then, the heavy courtroom doors creaked open. A hush fell over the room. In walked 7 men. Tall, broad-shouldered, clad in black leather vests adorned with patches that read, "Iron Vow MC." Their boots thudded against the marble floor. Tattoos snaked up their arms. One wore an eye patch. Another had a silver braid down his back. The bailiff stiffened, hand hovering near his baton. Judge Whitmore frowned. "This is a closed session. State your business or leave." The man in front, gray-bearded, with kind eyes beneath a furrowed brow, stepped forward. "We're here for Eleanor Mayfield." Eleanor gasped. "Frankie?" The biker nodded gently. "Hey, Ellie." The courtroom buzzed with confusion. What did a motorcycle club have to do with a sweet old widow? Frankie turned to the judge. "We've known Eleanor for 30 years. Her husband, Tom, saved my life in Vietnam. When I got back broken and addicted, it was Eleanor who brought soup to my doorstep every Sunday for 2 years. Never asked for a thing." He reached into his vest and pulled out a thick envelope. "We took up a collection. Every brother in our chapter chipped in. We've got $9,200 here. Enough to cover her debt and a little extra for groceries." Silence. Judge Whitmore stared, his smirk long gone. He adjusted his glasses as if trying to reconcile the image before him, the gruff bikers with calloused hands and hearts wide open. You all did this for her?" he asked, voice uncharacteristically soft. Frankie looked at Eleanor, who was now openly weeping. "She's family, Your Honor. And family doesn't let family drown." One of the younger bikers stepped forward, holding a hand-knit blanket. "My grandma taught me to crochet," he mumbled, cheeks red. "Ellie said she gets cold at night. Made this for her." Another placed a basket of canned goods and fresh bread on the bench. "From the church pantry. We helped stock it last week." The judge slowly rose from his bench. He walked down the steps, not in his usual authoritative stride, but with something resembling humility. He stopped before Eleanor. "Mrs. Mayfield, I misjudged you. And I misjudged them." He gestured to the bikers. "The court accepts the payment, and I'm dismissing all penalties. You keep your home." Eleanor whispered, "Thank you." But her eyes were on Frankie and his brothers, her unexpected angels in leather and denim. As the bikers gathered around her, wrapping her in a protective circle, Judge Whitmore returned to his seat, but not before slipping his own checkbook from his robe. Quietly, he wrote a check for $500 and handed it to the bailiff. "Give this to her anonymously," he murmured, "and tell her I'm sorry." Outside, the autumn sun broke through the clouds. Eleanor stood on the courthouse steps, wrapped in the handmade blanket, surrounded by men society had labeled outlaws. Yet in that moment, they were the truest heroes she'd ever known. Later, as they roared off on their motorcycles, Eleanor riding pillion behind Frankie, laughing through her tears, the townspeople watched in stunned silence. The judge stood at his window, watching them go, a single tear tracing his cheek. Because sometimes justice doesn't wear a robe. Sometimes it wears a leather vest and a heart too big for its chest. Never underestimate the depth of kindness, especially in those the world overlooks. Compassion wears many faces, even ones covered in tattoos and scars. If this story moved you, share it. Because in a world that often judges by appearances, we all need reminders that true strength lies in protecting the vulnerable. Thanks for watching.